Hi everybody, welcome back once again to Clues by Sam. Happy Friday. Hope you are doing good and hope you're excited for the hard one that we're going to play today. So, kicking off the weekend with a good exciting game. If you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily puzzle and each day it changes in difficulty along the week. We play this every day here on the channel, and in it there are 20 people who must be either criminals or innocents, and we gotta figure out their roles using the clues that they give us. The link is in the description if you want to play along. I'm gonna explain my logic as I go, so hopefully I can help you out if you need any help or get stuck. Let's start. Peter says that exactly 2 innocents in row 1 are neighboring Gabe. So Gabe has 2 people in row 1 neighboring him, Bruce and Deborah. That means that both of them have to be innocent since Peter says 2. Bruce now gives us a new clue. Exactly 1 innocent in row 3 is neighboring Kita. So Kita has 3 people neighboring her in row 3. Only one of them is an innocent. So we keep that in mind. Deborah also gives us a clue. Each row has at least 2 innocents. So putting that together with Bruce's clue, since we know that there's only 1 innocent among the 3 people that neighbor Kita in row 3, and there's 4 people total in that row, that means that the second innocent can only be the last person in that row that doesn't neighbor Kita. That's Noah. Now, Noah says that only one of the 4 criminals neighboring Lila is in row 3. So where's Lila? Lila has 2 people neighboring her in row 3 because she is one of the people in row 3. And since only one of those 2 that neighbor her in row 3 is a criminal, that makes Lila herself a second criminal that neighbors Kita in row 3, right? So Lila is a criminal because we knew that there were 2 here neighboring Kita. And we also know that Lila has 4 criminals total neighboring her and 8 neighbors total. So half of them are criminals. Now, Lila says that exactly 1 innocent in row 2 is neighboring Deborah. So kind of the same situation as row 3. Deborah has 3 people neighboring her in row 2. Only one of them is an innocent, so that means that Joyce, as Noah, has to be the second innocent in their row. And Joyce says that Hall has exactly 5 innocent neighbors. So if Hall has 2 innocent neighbors here in row 1, and he's gonna have a third one here in row 3, and he could have at most 1 innocent neighbor in row 2. Let's say that's Ivan. Then he has a total of 4 innocents neighboring him, right? So he needs Ellie to be the 5th. And we also know that the single innocent to neighbor Deborah in row 2 is not Hall, because Hall needs that innocent for his total as well. So, does that give us anything for Lila? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3 innocents. Yeah, it makes Kita and Rose opposites, because Lila has only 1 more innocent neighboring her. Now, I guess we don't need Noah's clue because we have the tags reminding us of that. Ellie gives us a new clue. There's an odd number of criminals to the left of Wanda. Okay, so there's an odd number of criminals to the left of Wanda. There's 3 people to the left of Wanda. We couldn't have all of them be criminals, even though there would be an odd number, 3. That would leave row 5 with only 1 possible innocent, that's Wanda. And we know that each row has at least 2 innocents. So we know there's only 1 criminal to the left of Wanda to keep an odd number, which is 1, and to allow row 5 to have 2 innocents at least. Now, any other new clues? Halls. Only one of the 3 criminals neighboring Kita is in column C. So we know that Kita has 1 criminal neighbor here. That's Lila. A second criminal neighbor who's either Karen or Max. And a third criminal neighbor who is going to be the single criminal to the left of Wanda. So we know that since her total is 3, that makes Rose an innocent. And since we know that one of the criminals neighboring her is in column C, that makes Max and Vince opposites, because only one of them can be a criminal. Both of them are in column C and neighbor Kita. Now Rose says that only one criminal in column D has an innocent directly above them. So in column D, we have 2 people who are not criminals. So Frank couldn't be the criminal above another criminal, or the innocent above a criminal, sorry. And Salil or Wanda could have an innocent above them. If Salil were a criminal, he would have an innocent above him, and it wouldn't matter what Wanda is. If Wanda were to be a criminal, she would have to have Salil as an innocent above her. So how does that help me? How does that help me? What am I not seeing here? Because it doesn't matter what Frank is. We know something about. I'm dismissing the clues that I don't need. Exactly one instant in row 3 is neighboring Kita. We know that. Each row has at least 2 instances. Every row has 2 instances so far. So we don't need Deborah's clue anymore. There's an odd number of criminals to the left of Wanda. We know that's only 1. Can I try to make one instant in row 2 is neighboring Deborah? Yeah. So we don't need that. 3 criminals neighboring Kita. So we know that 1 criminal is here. If we made Max a criminal, then we know that Vince would have to be an innocent. And Tom and Uma would be opposites. But if Max were... Wait a minute. If Max is a criminal, that makes Vince an innocent. And there's only 1 criminal neighboring Kita in row 5. So, yeah, they would be opposites. If, on the other hand, Vince was a criminal and Max an innocent, then these 2 guys would be innocents. But that works as well. So how? Oh, we know that Kita is a criminal because of Rose. I didn't see that before. Shucks. Kita says there are more criminals in row 3 than row 5. Okay, we know there's 1 criminal in row 5 to the left of Wanda. There's 2 criminals total in row 3. So there couldn't be any more criminals in row 3. That means that Wanda is an innocent. And if Wanda is an innocent, the only person who could be a criminal with an innocent to their directly above them would be Salil. Because even if Frank is a criminal, he doesn't have anybody above him. So Salil has to be a criminal. And now he says that I gotta put these 2 back as opposites. Salil says only 1 row has exactly 1 criminal. And that's row 5. So we know that Frank couldn't be a criminal, otherwise we would have 2 rows with 1 criminal only. So Frank is an innocent, and we don't need Salil's clue. Frank says there are exactly 3 innocents in column C. So there's 1 innocent here in column C, that's Rose. The second one is Ellie. We're gonna have a third one who's either Max or Vince, because they are opposites. And since there's only 3 total, then the Ivan, who is not in the equation, couldn't be an innocent. Now, Ivan makes Gabe an innocent. Now, Gabe says exactly 1 criminal neighboring Kita to the right of Tom. Where's Tom? Okay, so the single criminal in row 5 is either Uma or Vince that makes Tom an innocent. Tom now says there's not a number of criminals neighboring Rose. Rose is gonna have, because Max and Vince are opposites. Rose is gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 criminals, and that's not an odd number, so she needs a fifth one that can only be Uma, which makes Vince an innocent, which makes Max a criminal, which makes Karen an innocent, and we are done. Nice. Well, that was short. Lately, always when I think I'm going slow, I'm faster than I think. And that is amazing. Very good. Only 24% have a perfect, so interesting. Let me know if you have any questions and if I did explain everything that you would like to know. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. So, bye bye.